Continental Films and then rated GP, all ages, parental guidance.
Welcome back to the Hotel Orloff. It's August 18th, I believe, 2024, a Sunday. And we're going to go down to the basement. I've been organizing DVDs and Blu-rays and VHS, physical media. I've got a lot organized since I guess it was about this time last week that I did a 10-hour live stream doing that, or partially doing that. But anyway, let's see what we've got. There's a lot that I need to put in. This is not going to be a complete collection. This is going to be some of it. But let's see how things are going. Okay. Thought the dog was following me, but instead I hear the dog going on upstairs. So the dog is not thrilled with coming down here. Okay. Well, first of all, gotta find a place to sit down here. Okay. We'll figure this out. All right, well, let's go over it. Yeah, I had some milk crates I had the camera mounted on last time, and I had to use those for my wife. Things have been going a little rough here. I'll be quite honest with you. My wife's been having a lot of physical pain, pain beyond words kind of pain, and there's because of that she can't work, or she was getting a little better, but she hasn't been able to work her normal job. So now we're faced with a lot of financial stress. And, so, how do you have all these DVDs and Blu-rays? But I bought all these when I was single, man. And there's no real market for them now. They're just a great thing to say, because physical media is not something that can be changed. And you know how that goes. Altered. So, whatever. We'll see what we got here. This tripod is not working. Oh, man. So much. I can't even afford a tripod, man. Well, a lot of great people, it's been a real blessing, have helped out with the GoFundMe I started, which, anyway, I'll put a link down below to it. It'd be really great if you guys could help out. It would really mean a lot to my wife and myself, and to the Grotto Orloff Inspirational Network. Okay. Now, let me get a little bit more light. If anyone ever asked me, what do you really enjoy as far as entertainment? I always say movies and comic books and cartoons and TV shows. And it's like, everything that I've always loved has kind of gotten really bad in the last, in some cases it's taken decades, in some cases it's been in the last few years, really. All right, so I buckled in. I've always alphabetized titles that start with numbers, like, for instance, let's see, the 300 Spartans. I would normally, there's more light I could get on here. Oh, it's already on. What am I thinking? The 300 Spartans I would normally put this under T and file it like, spell out 300, THR. But I notice a lot of people file comics and movies, they put the numbers first, then they start with the A's. I've noticed that in a lot of comic stores, comics that start with numbers like Jack Kirby's 2001 A Space Odyssey, or I can't think of many comics that start with numbers, but they're always at the beginning of the boxes in the store. My wife's asleep, by the way, and so there's nothing I can really do. But when she's awake, I need to be there pretty much consistently. So I'm just doing this show real early on a Sunday morning, and then I'm going to go upstairs. She called in sick to work again today. So every time she does that, that's more money. But it's okay. I mean, she can't do it when she's in pain. Just hoping people will come through with the GoFundMe. And people have been, and that's great. And bless you, seriously. 300 Spartans, so that's the first one I've got here. 300, okay. That's, the movie with, what's his face? Zack Snyder made 300 based on the Frank Miller comic book 300, a movie I actually like. Zack Snyder has a good visual style. It's just when he's left on his own and he doesn't have someone else's material to, basically storyboarded for him, like with 300, he's going by every comic book panel. He's not a good writer. Here's the 10th victim. The 60s cult classic is back, it says on the back. The 10th victim. Next, we have 10 Violent Women, and I actually have 2 copies of that. I don't know, I think one of them might have been a gift. And I'm not sure if these are filed properly. Actually, 13 Ghosts, it seems like this should be in front of 300 Spartans, shouldn't it? I don't know. Now I've got to get into numbers, what numbers are first. Anyway, 13 Ghosts, a great movie. I've got an original pair of 13 Ghost viewers somewhere. There's a pair in here, isn't there? I swear this had a pair of, yeah, but they're little tiny ones. It's a Ghost viewer. I have one like this, but it's full size. So if this is a Ghost viewer, to see them, look through this. So it's a black and white movie, but it had the color elements in it. So when the ghosts appear, if you want to see the ghost, you look through the red part. If you don't want to see the ghost, you look through the blue part, and the ghosts don't appear on your screen. William Castle's 13 Ghosts. It's a little miniature fake one, but I've got a real one that was actually, someone got in the theater back when this came out, and it's somewhere unpacked. It's got to be somewhere. I'm not going to say it's lost. It's somewhere. But, when you go through a move, it takes a while, man. I'll put this first, 13 Ghosts, and then I don't know if these numbers are accurate. 42nd Street. I got a little sleep last night. Before that, I hadn't slept for 48 hours. I did a little commercial yesterday kind of pleading for people to help with the GoFundMe, but I probably look like heck on that. I didn't even want to look at it because I knew I looked bad. 1917 was a great movie. World War I movie. It was the last movie we saw in the theaters before they, all of a sudden shut down theaters for that COVID fad back in 2020. There's 2,000 Mules, which used to not even be able to say that on YouTube, but here it is. We had to mail order that. Here's a Blu-ray of 2001 A Space Odyssey. I've decided to put DVDs and Blu-rays together. I used to have them separated. It just didn't make any sense. And then here's 300. I should really have this next to 300 Spartans, which is the real movie. I mean, well, they're both real movies. What am I talking about? But the original movie. Okay. I guess I don't have 2010. I guess I never bought that. I saw that in theater. Oop, that's 2001 again. Okay, we get into the letters. Now here's a Blu-ray of The Adventures of Robin Hood, a great movie. And if there's any movies that you think, why don't you have that in the collection? It's probably still in the other room and I haven't filed it in. It's really, every time you put a movie in, then you've got to move some discs down to the next shelf. And then you got to take some from the end of the shelf and move them to the next shelf in order to, it's the same way if you're a comic collector and you've got tightly packed boxes. It's okay, I got to move this chunk of comics out into the next box. So that means I've got to move some. It's something else, man. Here's Airport. What a great movie. First of the disaster movies of the 70s, came out in 1970. They all had star-studded cast. I actually have 2 copies of this on Blu-ray. That was a mistake. I apparently was probably in a Dollar General, Family Dollar, and there were Blu-rays and they were cheap. And so I'm not sure if I have Airport. Maybe I only have it on DVD. I have this filed under A because the movie title is Alita Battle Angel. The comic book, or should I say manga. Oh, that's why there's no light. I don't have my ring light turned on. The manga, this is from a Japanese comic book. They call them manga. It's called Battle Angel Alita. Now, they changed it. It's really a good movie. It's CGI heavy, but it's a great movie. Well, maybe great's an exaggeration, but it's a fun movie. People were online wanting there to be a sequel to it, but that never happened. Same thing with that last Judge Dredd movie that just called Dredd. That never panned out into a sequel either. Here's the original All Quiet on the Western Front. Okay. Almost Famous. This is a 2 DVD set, and then it has a CD of the fake band that's in the movie. Almost Famous. Amazons versus Supermen. I actually have a section over there in the next room of Hong Kong movies, Japanese movies, Mexican movies, and Disney movies. I'm going to go put this one over there. You can come along with me if you wish. I'll go through these also, maybe on this show, just depends on how long it takes to go through these. And then I also have a section over there for cartoons. Classic cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons, animated features. Man, hold on a second. Okay, that gives me a little bit more room here. Then we have this Amazon Women on the Moon movie, which is, there's a part directed by John Landis, part directed by Joe Dante. It's a bunch of different directors that have got together to make this comedy movie in the style of the Groove Tube and Kentucky Fried Movie. This came a lot later, Amazon Women on the Moon. I think this was, in the last week, my eyes have gotten worse, substantially worse. I think it's all this time. Maybe I've had a mini stroke for all I know. I've had a lot of stress with my wife being so sick and screaming in pain, like she's giving birth. It's been horrible, man. It really has been bad. It's got a bunch of famous people in it. It even has Forrest J. Ackerman in it, as I recall. It has a parody of like a 50s science fiction movie called Amazon Women on the Moon in it. Kind of like Kentucky Fried Movie had a parody of a Bruce Lee movie called A Fistful of Yen, I think. Here's American Drive-In. So we're moving into American movies. Here's American Graffiti. I know I've got it on VHS in the other rooms, so I'll bring that in, put it right next to the Blu-ray version. And here's an American Werewolf in London, John Landis. What is this movie? What would you like to... I hate this. Some movies, when they have a... When you pull the thing that they would put a sticker at the top, right? You had to pull it off. And that was to keep, you'd know if it had been opened before. And sometimes it leaves a sticky residue, and then when you pull out a disc, the other one sticks to it. Anyway, that's the Amityville Horror. That's the original one with Lois Lane and, what is it, James Brolin? Yeah. From Samuel Z. Arkoff. Oh, okay. This is a documentary about Amy Winehouse. Okay, wonderful. I probably should have all the music stuff somewhere else, actually. So I might pull Amy out of here. Here's Angels, Hard as They Come, the biker movie. Here's National Lampoon's Animal House. A lot of movies imitated this poster design. Yikes. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? I loved Animal House. My wife doesn't like it. She also didn't like An American Werewolf in London, so she's not a John Landis fan. Okay, that's all right. Here's Anything Goes, and I still haven't. You'll find that there are ones that I haven't taken the shrink wrap off yet, for whatever reason. Bing Crosby, man, it's got a whole all-star cast. I've seen the movie, but I never took it out of the shrink wrap. Shocking. Here's Art School Confidential. Terry Zwigoff that made Ghost World, which is one of the great movies, I think. This isn't as good as Ghost World, but it's good. He also made Crumb. The Asphyx. This is a fun movie. Well, it's a fun movie, yeah. It's this little thing. It takes place, in the Victorian days, and they have an early camera that they managed to capture the spirit of death that shows up when someone's dying. It's called the Asphyx, and they find that they can capture it, and then no one dies. It's a cool little horror film. Here's Asylum. This is a horror anthology, basically directed by Roy Ward Baker. It's an Amicus movie. It has Peter Cushing and a lot of great British actors. Produced by, one of the guys that produced it also produced Tales from the Crypt and Vault of Horror. It's like, speaking of, do I have Tales from the Crypt in here? Tales from the Crypt and Vault of Horror came. Or did this come out before that? What year was this? 72. It came out the same year as Tales from the Crypt. It's a great movie. It's very much in the EC vein. Tales from the Crypt and Vault of Horror were two British-made movies that adapted EC comics right out of the comics. And that, of course, predated the HBO TV show. The only thing different was that they were set in England and they had British cast. And EC Comics was always a very American thing. It was like if Hugh Beaumont and June and Ward Cleaver, are visited by zombies. That's the EC world. Here's Atlas Shrugged. Ooh, that's not in the right order. No, wait. Attack of the Octopus People. Actually, this isn't even is this even a real movie? This isn't even a real movie. This is like a fake movie I should have mentioned that. Have I even looked at this? Yeah, these are fake movies made to look like old movies, and then they've got Frankenstein versus Hitler. You see, they've got like a robot monster Frankenstein that's got an old-time radio as a head. I don't want to knock this because I don't think I've actually ever watched this. And I don't know if that I'm going to be able to convince my wife that would be a fun movie to watch, so I'll have to watch that at some point. Which I'm probably just kidding myself. I'll probably never watch it, but I will try to. Baby Driver. Yeah, whatever. Barbara the Fair with the Silken Hair. As I recall, this is a Russian movie. Am I correct? It's a Russian fairy tale. Yes, indeed. Here's Barbarella. I could have sworn I had Barbarella on Blu-ray. I think I do. I don't know. I have it on Laserdisc also. So if I have it on Blu-ray, I have it on VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, and Blu-ray. That's they forced me to buy that movie 4 times. Of course, Jane Fonda, true to form, has just come out for Kamala Harris. Everyone has pronounced it Kamala Harris for years, and now if you pronounce it Kamala Harris, you're a bad person because it's supposed to be Kamala, because she's trying to make her name sound like Obama. She wants the emphasis on the first syllable. Kamala, Obama, Kamala. You've got to. It's weird because I swear it's always been Kamala Harris. Battle Beyond the Stars. I remember seeing this at the Forum 303 Mall Theater. Is The Magnificent Seven in space. Fun movie. Now we move to battle titles. Battle of Britain. Battle of the Bulge, which is something I'm fighting right now. I'm down to, I was 224 yesterday pounds. I was 227 this morning, but I've gotten up close to 250, and I'm fighting that, and so is my wife. That's one of the, she's got a hernia on both sides that she got working in a restaurant, and they were hazing her, making her lift real heavy boxes, and that happened to her, and she has, and that was years ago, and now that was back when everyone was wearing the masks, and now the doctors say, well, if you lose, I think if she just loses another 30 pounds, she can have the surgeries done. So they don't want to, they just want you to be at a certain weight to do that surgery. Here's Battle Royale, which I always heard about, but I haven't even taken out of the shrink wrap. But Quentin Tarantino says it's his favorite movie in the last 20 years. Okay, so I put beach party movies. I have a little group of beach party movies. Beach blanket bingo, rather. But I don't know if these are these alphabetized? Probably not. Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine. This is Susan Hart. She was great. Well, she is still great. I'm assuming she's still around. 2 days ago, Julie Newmar had her 91st birthday. Here's Muscle Beach Party and Ski Party. Donna Lauren, the Dr. Pepper girl, still around. She was in an episode or two of Batman. Where the boys are. Well, an episode, because an episode of Batman was really, it was an hour-long show. It was on each week on Wednesday and Thursday. Or was it Tuesday and Wednesday? I don't know. It was on 2 nights a week, Batman was. And that's why they say, tune in tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Because that's always mystified me as a kid when I was watching the reruns. Batman, I was thinking, why do they say tune in tomorrow? It was a network TV show. Why aren't they saying tune in next week? Because it hit with 2 episodes a week. So the 2 episodes constituted an hour-long Batman episode, but they divided it over 2 nights. That's how that worked. Here's Where the Boys Are, with a great Connie Francis theme. Almost done with the first shelf. Here's How to Stuff a Wild Bikini. Somewhere I have a big giant 6 sheet to this movie. I'm assuming I still have it somewhere. There's the complete Gidget collection, all the Gidget movies. There's also later a TV series with Sally Field. The Beach Girls and the Monster. This is a great movie. I mean, look at that monster. How could it not be great? It's not a color movie. They're fooling you here with the pocket. Here's Beach Red. The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Oh, this should be with the Harryhausen movies. I made a Harryhausen section, which probably makes no sense. Oh, that's over here. Let's go over here. Yeah, I wanted to put all my Ray Harryhausen movies together, which it might make it hard to find movies, but then I'll think, well, no, that's a Harryhausen movie. That's filed under H. I started doing all these little sections, which may be stupid of me. I was going to do a Clint Eastwood section, but then I wound up filing the the Man with No Name trilogy, Fistful of Dollars for a Few Dollars More, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I wound up filing them separately. But they all are pretty close to each other on the shelf because, 2 movies start with F and 1 with G. Okay, so Beast of the Yellow Night. Here's the original Benji. I didn't know, but they had done a new Benji movie a few years ago. And the people that know about that don't know about the original Benji movie. Okay, here is all 4 complete episodes of The Ed Sullivan Show with the Beatles. Yikes. Yeah. And here's a DVD of A Hard Day's Night. And the DVD of Help. Yellow Submarine. And Bedazzled, which was a movie that used to be on television all the time. I don't know if it is anymore. This is not the one with Brendan Fraser. They made a remake. It was, I don't know. I don't know if I'd never see it, actually. So, I don't know. I tend to have a negative opinion of remakes. Come up with your own clever little ideas. That's my opinion. And especially, how do you top that original Bedazzled? That was so great. But I guess they tried. Okay, so there was a movie called Valley of the Dolls, which I don't have. And they made a sequel that was, they hired Russ Meyer, so the sequel is really nothing to do with the original, and the sequel's insane. It was actually written by Roger Ebert, the film critic. Used to be on sneak previews. Siskel and Ebert go to the movies. And then next to that, we've got the Bible, the epic miniseries. This was a TV series, and they were pretty. Do they show it on the back? When the devil appears, he looks exactly like Barack Obama. It's unbelievable. But it was, you can kind of see the political views of the people that made that movie. They got a guy that looks exactly like him. Here's a triple feature: the Bible, the greatest story ever told, in the Robe. And this Bible is it's the only other movie called The Bible is the Dino De Laurentiis movie, before he made. So I'll put that Bible before the TV show Bible because it predates. And then we moved to The Birds, which apparently I got at Big Lots for $5 and haven't taken it out. I've seen it a million times, but I do need to take it out and watch it. That would be a good movie to watch some afternoon with the wife. Here's Black Belt Jones #2, The Tattoo Connection. These Jim Kelly movies are hilarious. They're really good. I mean, they're really funny. Here's Scream, Blackula, Scream, but I don't know where Blackula is. I know I've got Blackula. Maybe it's probably still in the other room. Anyway, William Marshall, who was the king of cartoons on Pee-wee's Playhouse, and of course Pam Grier, one of the most beautiful women of the 1970s cinema. Here's Blackboard Jungle, which is the first time that a lot of people heard Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley and the Comets, which is the song, the record that kicked off rock and roll with normal people. I mean, other people had heard rock and roll before, but that's when it took over the teenage culture. And then right after that, Elvis, right about the same time Elvis was hitting with his early Sun Records. Here's Black Dynamite, which is a new movie made to look like the old 70s movies, and of course it's not as good as the 70s movies. Here's Blade 2. I don't know if I have Blade 1. I think I do. It might be over here with the superhero movies. In fact, this movie, I have all the superhero movies based on comic books separated back over here, and I've got multiple shelves here. There's more here than most video stores in 1982 had in their whole stock. But Blade 2, I remember being my favorite because it was a Guillermo del Toro movie. I remember it was better than Blade 2. Here's a real thick one. It's the 5-disc complete collector's edition of Blade Runner. So it must have, different versions, because there was a version that came out with with voiceover, where Harrison Ford was kind of narrating like in an old detective movie, and then the director came out with another version without the voiceovers and slightly tweaked, and that was supposed to be the better version. And I don't know. Here's Blazing Saddles. Originally Mel Brooks wanted John Wayne to play the character played by he wanted John Wayne to play the character. He wanted Richard Pryor to play the Cleavon Little character, and the Gene Wilder character he wanted. Originally he had John Wayne in mind, but John Wayne said, "No, I can't be saying those words in a movie." But he said, "I'll be the first in line to watch that movie." And there's Blazing Stewardesses. And then, I was trying to figure out why is Night of the Seagulls next. Because I'm filing it's a part of the Blind Dead series. So there was a bunch of movies about these Knights Templar coming back to life. And so I filed it under BL for Blind Dead, which will make no sense to anyone. And I'm pretty sure I have other Blind Dead movies. I'm sure I do. They must just be in the other room. Here's the original Blob. Here's the remake of the Blob that was fun. That came out in the 80s. When in the 80s? I don't know. I remember seeing that. Okay, now we move into the blood section. So we have Bloodbath, and this is a double feature with The Witch Who Came from the Sea. They're bound together with this little cardboard here. And then there's Blood Freak, which is the best Thanksgiving movie ever made. The guy turns into a turkey in it. And then we got Blood of the Vampires. And then, oh man, Blood-Sucking Freaks, the director's cut. Bloody Pit of Horror. And you said, well, where are the Herschel Gordon Lewis movies. I got Herschel Gordon Lewis separated. I think he's over there. No, I don't actually. Here's a Blu-ray of his Blood trilogy: Color Me Blood Red, Blood Feast, and 2000 Maniacs. I guess I have the DVDs of these three movies over there. Blues Brothers. So why don't I have as many Silver Age comics as most comic collectors? I mean, really, after comics was he's probably got maybe 10 years on me, because he was a little kid buying, Silver Age Fantastic Four comics, and I was being born when I was, so he's maybe almost not quite a decade on me. After Comics, a great YouTube channel. He said, at this point, if you're my age, you should have all of the Silver Age Marvels. I mean, you just should have all of them. And I thought, well, yeah, why don't I have all of them? Because I was distracted by other things I was collecting, and by what else? What else? Toys, a lot of different things I've collected over the years, and whatever. Here's the Blues. I think I just showed that to you. So I don't have that great a collection of comics. Here's the Blues Brothers. It's what do they call these, metal or metallic? They were a big deal for a while. It's like, come to Best Buy. We've got a steel box. That's what they call them. Now Best Buy if Best Buy is even still in operation. I don't know if they are or not. That was the world before the pandemic. Everyone was really into collecting movies. And then the pandemic, people just stayed in their house and streamed movies, and then streaming became popular. I would much rather own the movie than stream it. But I have to admit, sometimes it's comfortable with my wife, rather than come down and look through the collection to try to find the movie, to just stream it if it's free on some platform. But the thing about these movies, here's Bonnie and Clyde, is things that normal people don't care about and never even investigate. Is like, there's multiple tracks on these, audio tracks, and you can listen to the director and the actors sit with you like they're on the couch next to you, and throughout the whole movie they're telling you about the movie and the filming of the movie. And it's almost like, I think I heard someone, maybe it was Quentin Tarantino, saying the same thing I'm saying. It's like, you don't even have to pay to go to film school. Just get a bunch of Blu-rays, DVDs, or rent them, and listen to the directors talking and the about the problems they had, and why they filmed the shot that way. It's really fascinating if you are really a film buff. This is a good movie. I don't think anyone's ever heard of it. It has Charlie Sheen and Maxwell Caulfield. It was directed by Penelope Spheris. It's about these two, they're serial killers, teenagers. They go to a party, and there's a song by the Cramps playing, which is unusual. This is one of the best Mexican movies ever made. It's has a different name in its original release. This warlock is burned by the Inquisition in 1661 in Mexico, and then he comes back to get rid of the descendants of the people that burned him to death. But he comes back as this weird monster with this that looks like that, with a long time. It is a lot of fun. Then we move to the James Bond movies, and I just saw a bunch of DVDs of James Bond in there. Here's Dr. No, and here's Goldfinger. They're in these little steel boxes that people used to care about. I've got every James Bond movie. Oh, here's a box set that has For Your Eyes Only, From Russia with Love, and Thunderball. Okay, so I have them in different formats. And then You Only Live Twice would be the fifth one, because it was Dr. No, From Rush with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball. This would be the fifth one. And then the next one that came out was On Her Majesty's Secret Service without Connery. And then I think about the same time as You Only Live Twice, there was another James Bond version, Casino Royale. This was a comedy, and different people played James Bond in this. Woody Allen at one point played him, and David Niven. It's a real 60s looking movie. It's Herb Alpert music, but it's not part of the James Bond series. So anyway, then after On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Connery came back with Diamonds Are Forever. Where is Diamonds Are Forever? Man, I know I have Diamonds Are Forever on Blu-ray. Maybe I only have it on DVD. Here's Live and Let Die. That was the first of the Roger Moore movies. Moonraker. I let me go in the other room and figure this out. Casino Royale, this is not the comedy one from 1967. This is the first of the Daniel Craig movies that started off well. There's Skyfall and Spectre, and then there was one after that, I think, that everyone warned me not to go see because I would just raise my blood pressure. Because I think James Bond, became a girl or something, or they killed James Bond. His new 007 was... here's the Boondock Saints, which I still haven't watched, but I've been told that it's a great movie, and it was kind of forced on me by a friend, and I think several people told me it's great. I think my wife told me that too. Here's Brain Damage. This is a Frank Henenlotter movie. And The Brain That Wouldn't Die. Seriously, this is a great movie. It's a great one. You got to trust me on that. And then we got the Broadway Melody. Bubba Hotep. That's Bruce Campbell from the Evil Dead movies. They're playing Elvis. The Buddy Holly Story. Great movie. Bullet to the Head with Stallone, which I still haven't watched. That's a remake of a Chinese movie, which I think I have in there. Here's Bullet, Steve McQueen with the famous car chase. But this is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and it's another copy of Good, the Bad, the Ugly. I have like 3 other copies, I guess. And here's Magnificent Seven. It was one of those things. I see it at, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Dollar Corporal, whatever. And it's that $7 for Blu-rays of those great movies. And of course, no one wants these anymore. So they have, I guess, no value. Here's Cabin Fever. How exciting. This, people, I don't know. I guess there's some that are collectible. You can tell me down below. If, that's a movie with Malcolm McDowell from 1979. We won't even look at that one. But you can imagine what it is based on where it is in the alphabet. Look up Malcolm McDowell movies that start with C. This is a fake movie, Call of Cthulhu. It's made to be like, what if, like when Lovecraft was alive, what if they made movies of Lovecraft stories during his lifetime, like during the silent movie days? So it's made to be a black and white silent movie of the Call of Cthulhu. And then next to that, I've got a 2-disc set from the same people, The Whisperer in Darkness, also a Lovecraft movie that, it's a fantasy movie. It's like, what if you're not eating cat turds out of the cat litter box, are you there? Here's Camelot. I'm talking to the dog, not my wife. Here's Camelot. Obviously, I'm not talking to the cat. Here's Casanova's Big Night. Okay, the next shelf. charade. I think we watched this movie, my wife and I, with her mom, and Captain Strangelove, I think, was here when we watched that. And it's like, I'm pretty sure. But I was in a whole nother dimension during that whole time. I barely even remember it because I had just gone through a move. Moving all of this was horrible. We had to make a bunch of hauls with rented U-Haul trucks with my more precious stuff that didn't. Then they all came in and took all my stuff in some big giant couple of cages, and then had to go to another city and wait there until a certain time, and they brought it here, and it was so rough moving. It was unbelievable. And then I twisted my ankle on the first day that Captain Strangelove was here. Here's a documentary about Charles Manson. We won't even look at that. It's interesting if you're into true crime, but here's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Chitty should be after Charlotte's Web. This is the computer animated remake of Charlotte's Web. Charlotte's Web is before Chitty. Chitty. Cimarron. I'm checking on my alphabet here. Circle of Iron, David Carradine. I don't need to tell you if it's Blu-ray or not, because there's always a blue something blue at the top. This is a crummy, but I wanted to see it. It's a crummy remake of Clash of the Titans, but I've just got to, if it's a Greek god monster movie, I gotta have to see, and then I just wanted to see, how they did it. Here's Wrath of the Titans. Of course, the Harryhausen movies are the ones to see. Here's Cleopatra, the Elizabeth Taylor version. The Claudette Colbert version, I think I've got that in a box set of, like a Cecil B. DeMille box set. So it's not here. It's not right here. Clockwork Orange. Cloverfield. Oh, that's not directed by J.J. Abrams. He just produced it. J.J. Abrams is someone that comes along and you think you want to like him because he's making like a realistic Godzilla movie with Cloverfield, and then he brings back the Star Trek franchise, and you say, well, I kind of want to like this new Star Trek, and then the next Star Trek comes out, and no, it's not as good, and then the third one is like, oh my gosh. And he did the same thing. He brought Star Wars back, and then it's like, well, I'm not quite sure, but maybe they're going somewhere. At least they're not doing computerized effects. It's it's practical effects. And then the next one comes out, and it's like, oh, this is god awful. And so it's like, and now he's involved with this new Batman cartoon that everybody's horrified by, where the Penguin is now a woman and stuff. Everyone's horrified by it. And J.J. Abrams' name seems to be attached to a lot of stuff that isn't so good. Oh my gosh, Cole. Here's Coal Miner's Daughter. What a great movie. And I'm already seeing a problem here. Here's Conan the Destroyer, a movie I know well because I worked in a movie theater in the summer of '84, and I saw this movie so many times, or parts of it so many times. Having to go in and out of the theater showing it. Here's Conquest. This is a really good movie too. Okay, so where is my Conan the Barbarian? I know I have Conan on Blu-ray. I know that I do. So the question is, maybe it's over here. Maybe I filed it with the comic book stuff. Not that Conan is a comic. Well, I kind of think Conan is a comic character in a way. Okay, so did I put Conan over here? Come on, man. This is the kind of thing that frustrates you. I know that I have oh, here's more. Here's a Japanese show that should be with my Japanese stuff. There's more Popeye. The Mysterians, okay. Oh, here's more Japanese. The Hidden Fortress. High School Confidential, yeah. Maybe I should do a lot more alphabetizing before I show you these. Where's Conan the Barbarian? There's Kick-Ass. Another copy of Scream, Blackula Scream. Boy. Anyway. Hidden Fortress is one of the there's a lot of elements in Star Wars that were taken from Hidden Fortress, a lot. Okay. Oh, you know something? Are these two different volumes? Scheiße. Or did I buy this twice? The Super Robot Red Baron. I've got 2 sets of this, man. Oh. Whoa. The leg fell off of the... Gosh darn it. Well, this is why it's good to alphabetize and get your collection in shape. Okay, I'm going to go in this other room where there's still hundreds and hundreds of DVDs. I don't think there's any Blu-rays in here, though. So I'm really wondering where Conan the Barbarian is. I know I've got it. I can even visualize the cover. It's Conan the Barbarian. Oh boy. It's in here somewhere, man. It's got to be. Wait. In fact, Conan is something I should have on Blu-ray and DVD. I'm sure I bought it both ways. Here's Hellboy. What is that? Oh. There's Devil Lady and Devil Man. They need to go with the Japanese stuff. I don't know. I need to stop worrying about it. I mean, it's not like it's just annoying. Where else could there be Blu-rays? Well, I'm annoyed. Maybe I misfiled Conan the Barbarian. Maybe I put it in the alphabet wrong. That could be. Let me keep looking here. Conan. Oh, it goes into D's. Don't know, man. Let's look it over here and see. Let's look at some stuff over here. I'm disgusted. Plus, I realize there's so much more I need to file for me to go through every disc for you guys. What's the point? Because there's more. You're not seeing everything. You're not seeing stuff I haven't filed in yet. Here's. Used to get these at Best Buy. It's Terror Tales, and it's got a cover stolen from an old Erie Publications magazine. But what they do is they give you these terrible, unwatchable movies that are like from the Philippines, but you got to get it because it's cheap and it has this amazing cover. Here's another one. I actually have the magazine they stole it from. This one has The Vampire and Fear, and they're all the ones that they have available. So I have to assume those magazine covers are in the public domain. Tales of Voodoo, which is another Erie Publications. This has got Ghost Ninja and Primitives. So these are all, I think, Asian movies. What is this? Oh. It's another copy of the Brainiac. I don't know why this is here. This should be over with the other Brainiac. Dang it. Brainiac. Where is the other Brainiac? What? Why is Brainiac in front of James Bond? That other Brainiac that I just showed you was in the wrong spot because I had it before Bond. B-O goes before B-R. Okay, so that was a mistake. Here I have all my Something Weird movies. They came out from the Something Weird label. And so here's Blood Feast on DVD. And some of these, this is Color Me Blood Red. This is 2000 Maniacs. Maybe I should put them in order. I don't know. There's Bloodsuckers and Bloodthirst. I just figured I'd put every Something Weird title together. A lot of them are double features. Here's Bloody Pit of Horror. That's Jane Mansfield's husband that plays that dungeon master guy. These aren't, see, that's that sticker stuff. Yeah. These are not Something Weird, but they are double features. This one has Viking Women and the Sea Serpent with Teenage Caveman. It's from the Samuel Z. Arkoff collection, and this one has The Day the World Ended and She Creature. I'll put these in front of the Something Weird. Oh, and then the Gorgor Girls should be with the other Herschel Gordon Lewis movies. We're going to get this all put together, right? Some of these Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Most of these something weird titles, you know what they're like. We don't need to look at those. This is Cult Camp Classics Volume 1 from Warner Brothers. So this has got Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, Queen of Outer Space, and the Giant Behemoth. And there's another one. I'm trying to get these. I've got these sets. Like this is a Blood Island set. And it's got Brides of Blood, Mad Doctor of Blood Island. There's Brain of Blood, Mad Doctor of Blood Island, Beast of Blood. I've got a movie poster for that. And Brides of Blood. These are the movies. They're fun now, but it used to be when we would go to a drive-in in the early 80s and there would be one of these Eddie Romero, John Ashley Blood Island movies, and we'd feel, oh no, we were so disappointed. Who put this out? Oh, this is also something weird. Drive-in classics, but it's marketed. It doesn't look like a something weird release, but it's got 4 of the double features in it. Okay. Yeah. And then there's tons of these. Oh man. There are these Elvira movie macabre ones with Elvira, and this one's got Gamera Super Monster, and they came from outer space. That's I got a bunch of those, and then there's a bunch of these ones that are from MGM that have double features called Midnight Movies. There's a ton of these I've got. If you want to see them all, let me know. Oh, here's how I was wondering where are my Tales from the Crypt and Vault of Horror? They're a double. I have it on a double feature on DVD. See, together. So that's why it wasn't with the alphabet out there, because I put all these together. But that still doesn't solve where my Conan the Barbarian disc is. This says Zontar, the Thing from Venus, and the Eye Creatures. So I've got the Land of the Giants set here, and this little attaché case is the whole series of Man from U.N.C.L.E., whole series of Batman. This is just a bunch of records. There's the Planet of the Apes set, and over here is just more of the alphabet, starting with Harper, and then it goes into the Ray Harryhausen movies, and then by the time we get down here, we're to Sleepy Hollow, the Tim Burton movie. I've got it all kind of crazy because it starts. I've got A through. I start with A with the numbers in A here. That's what we were going through. Then over here is the continuation of alphabet starts up here actually, and then over here, the alphabet continues with the slime people and Tarzan movies, and then I've got Universal all together, and then down here I've got a bunch of movie serials. Somewhere is Conan the Barbarian, and over here I've got a bunch of superhero movies that I've got separated, and then I got stuff that I haven't organized yet up here. Oh, there's an Asian movie. I need to move to the Asian section. And here's Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai. I didn't show you that. And yeah, Adventures of Rat Fink and Boo Boo. Here's Idiocracy. It's Fire Dragon. That's the only way you can tell what it's called. Is the spine, because it's all completely marketed for the non-English speaking market. And there's a few new superhero movies I have to put in. That last Spider-Man movie was good. That was probably one of the last good Marvel movies. I think the last Guardians of the Galaxy was good. Although I didn't like what they did with Warlock. Over here's a bunch of TV shows. I got. Well, let's look at the TV shows. Let me get Fire Dragon out of my hands first. Anyway, this is what I've been doing lately. I was doing it last weekend. And my wife got really sick, and she has been sick, but she got sick again, and it's been unbelievably bad. I can't even tell you how bad this has all been. So I've got season 2 of Adam 12. And I've got DVDs of I don't know if these ever came out on Blu-ray, but I've got all 3 seasons of 3. I've got 3 discs of Addams Family, but it wasn't a 3-season deal. They must have just spaced it over 3 sets of discs. As Addams Family and the Munsters were on different networks, but they were both they went from 64 to 66, only 2 seasons. This is a Fu Manchu TV series. This is from Alpha Video. They were always the really cheap label, cheap, I mean inexpensive. Here's The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet. Adventures with Jesus. I just saw this for a couple of bucks and thought, what is going on with this? I had to get it. They're made to look like trapper binders. The after school special. I got 2 of these. I guess they're the best movies from the after school special. I used to always hate the after school special. You come home from school and the network would show you some educational movies, TV movies they'd made. I think it was on ABC, wasn't it? Here's Annie Oakley, 1950s TV show. I don't have much. I love this TV show. I think I have more discs of the Avengers in the other room. I have a lot. I have a lot of TV shows in the other room that I haven't brought in yet. Eventually, I'll get this all organized. I'm just trying to get everything organized so I can show movies for my wife and let her know what I've got. And I'm sorry, are we still recording? Yes. It's the tripod, man. It's got rubber legs. It worked great. It was a gift from Captain Strangelove, but it worked great. But then they have planned obsolescence. Here's Bat Masterson, the 2nd season. This is the kind of stuff that would show up in Big Lots. I don't know if Big Lots, if they have them in this part of the country. Here's the Beatles cartoon. You can tell this is not an authorized release. I don't think this has ever been released in an authorized way. I think there were some VHS tapes of the Beatles cartoon. Yeah, it's a crazy cartoon on during the time that the Beatles were popular. Here's a 2 DVD set of the Beverly Hillbillies. Some of these are they almost look like public domain. I know that Beverly Hillbillies isn't public domain, but some of those discs look like public domain quality. So here we have Bewitched, the 1st season. My wife got it. She wanted to see them colorized, to see all the mid-century furniture in color and everything. And some people like that. The 1st season was colorized. That shouldn't be in color. This is the 2nd season, still not. This one should be in color. I think it was just the 1st season. Same thing with Gilligan's Island. The 1st season was black and white. But this one has all 254 episodes, and this one, they're all correct. This is the way I like it. The black and white ones are in black and white and all that. Here's I guess, yeah, a Blondie TV series. There was a long series of Blondie movies that was almost like a TV show. They must have come. Maybe they must have had a new Blondie movie. It seems like every 3 months in the '40s, late '40s, before people had television, and then they must have had a Blondie series also. There were all these Blondie movies, that they used to show on Channel 11 from Fort Worth back in the '70s, and they were. Yeah, but anyway, here's a collection of Bozo. I think this is the Chicago Bozo, the original Bozo. Here's a Brady Bunch set that is still not taken out of the shrink wrap. I think they do things, yeah, they look around. Fourth season. I guess I'd like to have the other seasons. We have the final season of Breaking Bad because we didn't watch Breaking Bad when it was on the air. We watched it later. And then whatever we were watching on Netflix, whatever, had all the seasons except for the last one. So when we had to buy it to see this last season. I like Breaking Bad, and Better Call Saul was a lot of fun too. There's the Civil War series, which was really good. The Ken Burns one. Here's just some little collection of Dark Shadows. I have every Dark Shadows episode. It cost you hundreds of dollars to get the whole series. Well, my friend had all the series, and he would lend me several discs at a time, and I'd make copies. So I have unauthorized. I have copies of the Dark. I should get. There's one out now, or it was out a few years ago, that was in a coffin shape, where it had the whole series. He had them in these. It took a whole shelf and a half of space for the whole Dark Shadow series because it was a soap opera. It was on every day. It was not. Here's Davy and Goliath Volume 2. Why don't I have Volume 1? Maybe I do. Maybe it's in the other room. Here's the TV series. Ralph Byrd is Dick Tracy. Diver Dan is a fun series. You got to trust me on this. There's even a comic book, I think, from Dell of Diver Dan. Highly recommended. I've got a whole bunch. I don't know if you want to see all these Dragnets from the 50s. This one has over 12 hours of Dragnet. Dragnet was a show I always loved, and it goes back to old-time radio. Dragnet was a TV... Yikes! Dang it. This tripod is not being good today. Bunch of Dragnets. Okay. Here's the Electric Company, which I've been thinking a lot about this show lately. I just stumbled on a video on YouTube of the Short Circus, the band that was on this show, and everyone was saying R.I.P. someone under it, Janet Dickerson or something, I forget her name. They're all real sad about this girl in the Short Circus had died, and they were saying apparently there was a girl in the Short Circus that was pretty but kind of pudgy, and she sings the song "Sweet Sweet Sway" from. I stumbled on it. It was a recommended video for the song "Sweet Sweet Sway" from the Short Circus and the Electric Company. And anyway, she had been in Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, and she was one of the kids that was eliminated by Willy Wonka and the original movie. And she was in Dark Shadows as one of the kids on Dark Shadows, and she was in the Electric Company, and she passed away, not too long ago. Here's a great show, Fireball XL5. It's the whole series. It's Jerry Anderson. Electric Company was a show that was like for kids that graduated from Sesame Street. Although I still watched Sesame Street in early elementary school because I thought it was so much fun with the Muppets and everything. But the Electric Company teaches you phonics, and it was gangbusters. I was telling my wife you know, there's an expression, someone's coming on like gangbusters, and they said, well, there was a radio show before this TV show. I'm sure the TV show starts the same way, and the TV show, the radio show, Gangbusters, would come on the radio, and it would all of a sudden be, at the beginning of the show, it'd be machine guns and police sirens and all this racket. And so when people say something's coming on like gangbusters, that means you're coming in really loud and obnoxious, and you'd be listening to the radio, and all of a sudden, bang, and all this sounds of violence. That's what. I'll go upstairs and play. I'll play you some openings of Gangbusters. You'll see what I mean. Get Smart season 1. I love this series. I wish I had more of the series. Great. This is the original Ghostbusters from 1975. Bob Burns plays the ape was called Spencer. All right, and he was called Kong. It's not what you expect. Anyway, it's first time on DVD. That was a fun show. Here's Gilligan's Island Volume 3. And this is a movie, actually. Well, it's episodes from the Green Hornet TV series from 1967. They edited several episodes together as a movie and released it in 1974 and as a Bruce Lee movie, because Bruce Lee became a huge star right as Enter the Dragon was coming out. He became a huge star, and then he died right before the movie came out. And so everybody wanted more Bruce Lee movies, but you weren't going to get any more. The first 2 seasons of Happy Days were great before it started being filmed on a studio audience. Here's Have Gun Will Travel, seasons 1 through 4. This also started as a radio show. And Hawaii Five-0. I want to end this show pretty soon. This is first season because I want to watch David Wilcock. He's going to be on live here in a little bit. Here's 40 complete episodes of Howdy Doody. This is a show I love. Damn it. I'm going to wind up cracking this screen. And I don't... Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of great stuff here. Here's ISIS, I don't know if any of you even care about all this stuff. Lancelot Link, Secret Chimp. Leave It to Beaver. You know what? When I was in college, I used to look like this guy. What was his name? Man, I used to know. Powers Booth. I used to kind of resemble him. Of course, I've aged since then. Powers Booth is aged too. So neither of us look like each other anymore. But for one brief shining moment, I kind of was like, that was better than when people told me I looked like Joe Piscopo. I was thinking, no, thank you. This was a good Saturday morning cartoon, the Tarzan series, late 70s. And I got a million things here. The best of Tennessee Tuxedo. There's a complete Tennessee Tuxedo. I wonder if I have that. So a lot of stuff in the other room I've got. Terry and the Pirates. See, here's the thing. You see this here, and okay, there's all this, all these, and this, and I'll just give you a quick glance around, and here, right, this is the stuff I've been organizing, correct? But what I'm not showing you is this whole other room in here of stuff that I've got, and then there's all these things that are these VHS that are in boxes. So, wait a second. Oh, that's VHS. I don't know, man. There's